Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. Today we are in the remote Pennsylvania wilderness in mountain country outside of the town of Driftwood, Pennsylvania, exploring the Fred Woods Trail. This is a relatively short trail, only 4.5 miles, on top of a mountain plateau, but it's packed with adventure and we're expecting to see some glorious scenic vistas and some rock formations. So stay with us in this beautiful Pennsylvania wilderness because we are on track for adventure. After about 8/10 of a mile, the trail splits into a loop, and you can see here the main loop is 3.05 miles according to that sign. And here's a sign explaining about Fred Woods. We're going to turn right and we'll go counterclockwise around the trail. So far the trail has been actually wide and well maintained with yellow blazes. There were a few wet spots with footbridges over top. It's been a very easy, very pleasant trail, and you can smell the fragrance of the ferns on all sides of the trail. The trail seems to narrow here from the main trail leading in, but still it's a very clear and well-maintained trail. The sign we just passed indicated there are 2 scenic overlooks and rock formations, so that just heightens our anticipation. And what you can't tell from the video, you can take deep breaths and enjoy the sweet scent of these summer ferns. Now, one thing to keep in mind, as you can see from these trees, they're all relatively young. Not that long ago, this would have been completely logged, clear cut, and would have been a bald top of a mountain. But as you can see here, there's a lot of young growth trees. Just a very pleasant walk. I'm excited for the rock formations, and it seems that they are beginning. Here are a number of short table-like formations. To our left through the woods, you can see some taller monoliths. It's really cool to walk through these. I also like to see how the roots of trees grow down through and along the rocks, and you find trees growing right on top of them. I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of these rock formations that we've heard about and that we're so excited to see. These seem to fizzle out, but I'm sure there are more up ahead. Just passed a young man who was bouldering, so this may be a good spot if you're into that. Now we're passing through, it looks like a wall of rocks to our right and to our left. Our anticipation is growing. I love this sort of thing. Look at the moss, the green moss on the bottom and the ferns on the top. There is little else I would rather be doing. We've entered a region of even larger boulders. Some chipmunks and squirrels running about. Look at those formations, those holes and crevices in the boulders. These are much larger now. And this is really what we were hoping for. These amazing boulder cities that you find throughout Pennsylvania, especially in the central and northern regions. Look at that. Reminds me of one of my favorite boulder places in Pennsylvania, Bilger's Rocks. Except this is on a bit of a smaller scale. Saw some of this in the Allegheny National Forest as well, and up by the Loyalsock near World's End State Park. Let's go in through here. Oh, I love these. Feels like you're walking through a silent woodland city. Turn around here. Here's where we just came from. That's a great view. I love walking through these. Coming around the back side, there's another narrow passage into the interior. It feels like we're entering a stone castle. So maybe a little cave, or at least a void in the rocks. Whoa. Look at that. Let's go back here. Feels like we're going into the courtyard of the castle now. I think we were on the other side of these rocks. Yeah, I guess if one was so inclined, you could crawl through here. But all things considered, I'd just go around. Here's a narrow passage. Let's see how far we can get in here. I'm gonna have to take off the backpack to get through here. All right, one moment. There we go. Let's slide through here. Ooh, just made it. Tight squeeze. Another tight squeeze through here. Let's see if I can climb up on top of this. Okay, we climbed up a slick ramp, a mossy and wet rock into the inner sanctum of this rock formation. Ah, so cool. This looks like this is as far as this crevice goes. All right, that is where we just came from, and if we turn around, we see more rock formations. And here's another narrow passage through this veritable labyrinth for us to explore. Wow, you really can't get an appreciation of how tall these rocks are above us. It is so cool. This natural formation looks like it was constructed of flat rock into a castle. So cool. This isn't the largest rock city I've been to in Pennsylvania. There's a narrow passage. But it might be one of the most interesting on account of these almost man-made looking passages. Rivaled only by Builder's Rocks, I think. And here we are at the end of the line. Boot is stuck. Actually, you can make it all the way through this passage. And here's the trail. Tunnels upon tunnels, passages upon passages. Oh, I can feel the cool breeze. This might be one of my new favorites, one of my favorite rock formations in Pennsylvania. If we look up, there's an overhang above us. Sounds like some folks ahead. I hear a dog. On the return trip through that long, narrow chasm, as I was saying, this might just be one of my new favorite rock formations in Pennsylvania. Ah, there we are. And I'm happy I get to share it with you. As always, we'll mark the coordinates at hemlockstateexplorer.com, where you can find the full adventure, and then you can get out here and enjoy it for yourself. And after we exited the chasm, we saw a pathway to the top of the rocks, and you can walk right along the top of the chasm on these big flat table-like rocks. Just be careful, watch your step, but it's cool to get a perspective of where we were. Let's walk to the end and see where this leads. Okay, this is the large rock that created an overhang, a cave, where we were just standing. So we are directly over one of the entrances of the chasm down there. Okay, and then here's a view of the chasm from the top. What an amazing place. And here we're standing on top of another chasm, a narrow fissure more like, walking on some soft mossy ground, very pleasant to walk on. So cool that you're walking on top of the chasms we just climbed through. Maybe we'll get a view of that more open courtyard from up here. Yeah, it does remind me a lot of Builder's Rocks. Okay, this is the initial entrance to the Boulder city. And we're passing through another set of monolithic boulders just beyond where that main Boulder city with the huge fissure was. So there's not just one formation, there is a main largest formation, but as you can see, there are multiple formations throughout the woods, and it looks like the woods are actually opening up just ahead. That might be the scenic view. We're approaching the opening. There's a sign up ahead. Mind the rocks. Water plug vista. Oh wow. Okay, looks like this is the way to go. Watch out for our snaky friends in rock outcroppings like this. Maybe the view would be better from the top of the rock above us. Okay, we did climb the rock above us and the view is a bit better. Not as panoramic, but I love to see these mountains and valleys. And there's a stream down below us. I wonder if that's the Cinemahoning. We've arrived at the second scenic overlook, the aptly named Huckleberry Vista, because you can see there are huckleberries all around, and we've been hiking through huckleberry bushes for about the last mile or so. Here's the scenic view. Nothing to write home about. It is pleasant and it's beautiful. I can see the Allegheny Plateau behind with multiple peaks and a beautiful gorge. Maybe we'll get a better view down here. There's been a variety of terrain from leaf debris to soft and pleasant humusy soil to rocks and roots, and it's been an interesting hike. I like the variety of terrain. This view wouldn't be worth the visit on its own, I would say. Nevertheless, it's something pleasant to check out if you find yourself on the Fredwoods Trail. After about 4.5 miles, we're approaching the trailhead of the Fredwoods Trail. The rocks themselves were amazing, and they alone were worth the visit. They are right up there after Bilger's Rocks near Grampian, Pennsylvania, and the Minister Creek Trail in the Allegheny National Forest. These were fantastic rocks, a fun time. The trail has a lot of variety of terrain. It's mostly flat, being on top of a plateau. This would be a great place for families. Just be aware that some sections are quite rocky and might not be appropriate for younger children unless you want to end up carrying them. The views were okay, just okay, nothing to write home about. Other than the rocks, this was a nice, pleasant walk in the woods. We are quite remote, in elk country even, one of the few places in Pennsylvania where you can see elk. We didn't see any and weren't really expecting to this time of year. I was hoping to see some bear, but We didn't see any. I thought I heard some on the side of the mountain making their distinct noises, tramping through the woods, but didn't actually see any. But this place is highly recommended on account of the rock formations. And this is just the walking tour, the highlights of the Fred Woods Trail. Be sure to check out the full review with maps, waypoints, and tips that you need to know before you go at hemlockstateexplorer.com. Thanks for joining us on another adventure, and until next time, we can't wait to see you on the next adventure.